This is the all-new Cammus C12, the older brother to the popular C5, and with a promised 12mm of torque for only $550, it's offering something nobody in sim racing has managed to do before.
No, this is not your typical C12 review, but there are a couple reviews that I do recommend here if you want to see something that is a little bit more polished than what I typically create.
Interrupt this episode of Everybody Loves Hypnotoad to bring you a special address.
Well, jokes aside, I do respect their work, which is more like a iRacing, which is really polished and nice, whereas me, yeah, I'm a little bit more of like cruising the world. And if you actually played the game, put in the comments your favorite memory of it. Back to Cammus and this luxurious C12, which right here is just an amazing wheel. I mean, just look at it. But really, like, don't we want to know what's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?
And I thought it'd be really important to show the contents within the box because a lot of people aren't familiar with how easy it is to set up your C5 or C12. And first, you'll see a manual, which you don't need, and then you'll see your wheel underneath and a couple pieces that we will quickly go over in a second. Starting with the brackets here, which you place on the back of your wheel hub, and then you would put them onto your mount. Next, we have this cable, which is very similar to the USB cables used in printers, and you plug this into the back of your wheel hub as well. Then next, we have a fan that is much needed as a cooling system that is placed onto your desk mount. And please don't forget that fan. Then next, you just have your typical screws and you have a Allen wrench. So to be honest, you really don't need any outside tools. Then you have your power block here, and that's about it when it comes to what's in the box. Super easy to set up.
Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen?
And now for my opinions on the C12.
Yeah, boy.
Call me weird, I really don't care. I love the RGB and all the lights on this. And if you're into that sort of thing, like me, then this wheel is for you. And the C12 has tons of dials, tons of buttons, tons of switches actually as well, that you can use to assign anything that you need, whether it be for headlights, your wipers, your mic, or whatever. So much here you could use it as a flight simulator. And speaking of flight, I plan on taking mine on a trip to Miami. Clearly the TSA won't have an issue with this thing being lugged around, right? I mean, when you look at the Fanatec stuff, they probably would have an issue. There's so much, so there's no way you're going to be traveling with that. The C12 is heavy. And based off of what I've seen online, it's a whole kilogram heavier than the C5. And when I installed it on my guest rig, I had to add extra weight to the back just to keep it from tipping over. So I can't recommend this at all. Use a desk instead. And with the C12, you can take the wheel off, but it makes it very tedious when you want to switch between Rally, Formula, or GT. They could have went with a thin quick release like this NRG here and just embedded that into the hub. This would have pushed the wheel out maybe 3 centimeters, which is really not an issue. So head of R&D at Cammus, hit me up. I'm here. I can help. Technologic. If you're familiar with the C5 or own a C5, then you're probably familiar with this software here. It's exactly the same. So it shows your wheel hub there. It shows here your basic settings, which again are exactly the same. There hasn't been any extra things that you can do in regards to settings from the C5 to this C12. You have your typical steering range, your power, your damping, your friction, your inertia, and then also your idle spring. It's all the same as your C5. I was hoping to see something a little bit different, maybe some extra settings. And when you compare it to the Club Sport DD Plus wheelbase and its settings, You get a couple extra settings such as sensitivity, FFB, and intensity. And Cammus just needs to do a little bit more when it comes to the software. If you go to devices, you can also set your steering angle here and then also check to make sure your wheel is centered properly and set some buttons if you so please. Now moving along to update. If you see that little red dot, you might want to click it. It means that something on your wheel hub or wheel itself needs to be updated. So we're going to go ahead and update here. It's saying we need new firmware, and it's pretty straightforward and easy when it comes to updating. And if you head back over to main, you'll know that the wheel disconnected, and it should reappear once the update is complete. So we'll just give it some time here to do its thing and update, and then it will reappear. All right, there it is. So update is complete, and we are ready to use the wheel. Testing the C12 is very similar to the C5 and how it feels. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit stronger than the C5, but I was hoping to feel a little bit more texture in the road. Now, if you want to get a better understanding of how Cammus wheels feel on different games, go to this video here, check it out, and it should give you a better idea of how it feels per PC game. All in all, these wheels deliver confidence. Confidence.
Confidence. Confidence.
Confidence. Now, what you saw there was iRacing. Now, if you want me to do a review on R-Factor or Assetto Corsa, then you're going to have to like and subscribe because I really feed off of that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace, love, and racing gloves.